How's it going, everybody? Well, I picked myself up a new revolver today. Just want to share it with you. I got a couple of questions about it. This is the Smith & Wesson Governor. I don't know a heck of a lot about these, versus the, be it the judge or the governor, a whole lot about these. I've been doing a little bit of research, like wanting to know if you could fire a 45 Long Colt plus P through this, and the general consensus is no, not recommended. This has got the scandium frame. The weight on this dry is 29.5 ounces, which kind of surprised me. It is a relatively light revolver for as large as it is. I have not fired it yet. I did buy a little variety of ammo for it, and I just want to show you. I got this stuff here. Now this is obviously, pretty inexpensive, cheap ammo. But I was putting this into the cylinders, and some of these will not go in all the way. Like right there. Okay, that went. That got snug, but it went. But I ran across some that just flat wouldn't go in at all, and I didn't know if this was something that was relatively common with these little revolvers. If you get the less expensive shotgun shells, that sometimes you may have problems with them not fitting in there. Of course, all those fit. That surprises me. I don't know. Keep those out. Let's try some more here. That one went in real nice. Now that one right there. Oh, you heard that pop in there? My general question is this common with some of the cheaper ammos, because the cylinders on these, are they, a much tighter tolerance than a standard shotgun breech would be, which I'm assuming that it is, especially seeing how this will shoot. 45 Colt, 45 ACP, they don't have a lot of room for, having a cylinder bore a little bit too big. It could cause a problem for one of the other brands. Well, this is showing me to be an incompetent boob. That was 12 rounds right there. I know I hit those 2 rounds that I couldn't get in before. Well, I'm boring you out of your mind. Maybe I'll get through these here. If all these go in, then I'll just shush up about it and just ask that question. Do you guys see issues with certain ammos? That one there went in real easy. All those went in, so I don't know. Boy, they come out hard. Anyhow, I've been looking at this style of revolver for quite some time, and I didn't really know if I wanted to pick one up or not. I was like, well, what is the niche of it? Well, I finally just decided that I like it just because it's different. It gives you the capability of 3 different types, or 3 different types or rounds of ammo that you can fire through it, albeit one of them shotgun and the other 2 are handgun rounds, 45 Long Colt and 45 ACP. 45 ACP, you have to use moon clips, snap the rounds into moon clips, which they give you a couple, 3 of them with the firearm. Put them in the moon clips, and then you can put them in here and shoot them. I've been looking at video on YouTube. There's a fair amount of stuff out on them. People doing accuracy tests, even using ransom rests. Because a lot of the complaint about this is that this would not be very accurate, because if you have a 45 ACP in here, it's only going to go down, somewhere around 1/3 to half way down this cylinder. So when you fire it, it has all this distance in here where they call it just free bore. There's no rifling, nothing else. It just kind of spits it down the cylinder, Then it goes and hits the forcing cone over here, and then finally hits the rifling in here, and goes out. And a lot of people say that that is a big reduction in power, velocity in those rounds, and it's a big hit on accuracy. I haven't really seen that with the videos I've looked at. Like I say, this one guy, I don't have a clue who he is, was doing a very in-depth review on it, and he actually had the thing clamped down in a ransom rest, and he was not seeing bad groups whatsoever with it. So I don't know. It's kind of a little niche thing. Of course, you could either get the Taurus Judge or the Smith & Wesson Governor. I don't really have a good reason as to why, to be honest with you, but I'm not a big Taurus fan. I've had a couple, 3 Tauruses in the past. One semi-auto, the Beretta 92 clone, and that gun was my first Beretta, my first Taurus, and it did not prove to be reliable at all. I got rid of it some time back. I've since learned, now that I've gotten into firearms more, that it was probably just a magazine issue with that gun. But I had a lot of jams, we'll just say, and that really turned me off on Taurus, and I just can't get it out of my head. It's a lot like a Ford vehicle. I've never owned a Ford vehicle. I shouldn't say I've never owned one. I've had one. It was my dad's. He gave it to me when I was 16. But I've never bought one. And the reason why is because growing up, having friends and stuff that had Fords, it seemed to me that them Fords were always breaking down. Those things were broke all the time. And other friends that had GM products, they weren't. So it's just one of those things, how you get this stuff in your head and you just can't clear it out. I know that the newer, Fords and stuff are great. Now, I'm sure the vast majority of the Tauruses are great, but I just couldn't get past it, so I decided to, spend the extra money and get the Governor. But this gun does weigh 29.5 ounces, which surprised me. Whenever I picked it up, when I was looking at them, I picked the thing up and I was like, wow, this thing is light. And I'd already done some research. I knew that it was scandium framed. And I was just like, wow, that's kind of impressive. My revolvers, I have my 357, 44, stuff like that. I mean, that stuff's approaching 40 ounces and heavier. And this scandium is just super light. But that kind of makes me wonder about its durability and strength too. But I don't need to, put this on the scale. I did do a check of the trigger. Double action, it went over the scale on my 12-pound trigger pull scale. So it was running higher than that in double action. I did 2 pulls in single action. I had one come in at 4 pounds, 14 ounces, and the other one came in 4 pounds, 9 ounces. So it's just under a 5-pound single action pull. It is smooth, not gritty. It feels really good. This thing does come with a rubber grip. It's not like the grip on the Taurus that kind of has the ribs on it, and I will give the Taurus that. That grip feels really, really nice. It absolutely does. You can see right on here that this will tell you the rounds that it will fire. I'm not going to attempt to do any type of a hot 45 Colt load. Now, if you just heard that noise in the background, that was my air conditioning shutting off and turning on and all that stuff. So I apologize for that, but there's nothing I can do about it. So I just kind of want to get some feedback from you guys on ammo. You guys that have the Judges, have the Governors. I know the PDX-1, I got some of this stuff, and boy, is this stuff pricey. $15 for 10 rounds. Ooh, ain't going to be shooting that as a target load on the range. This high brass number 6 shot, right there's the price. Got this at Sportsman's Warehouse, probably overpaying a little bit for it, for what I could get it for, like at Wally World or something. Yeah, we're in the big time now. We actually have 2 Super Walmarts in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Just had the other one open up. And then some number 4 shot and this Federal Premium stuff. And I actually had some of this stuff that was going in really, really tight too, early on. which I'm not going to tell you it is now because it probably won't, but I'm going to do this. See, I gotta, you gotta push that in. I'm not used to that with a shotgun. You take a single shot 410, which is what I have. You take a shotgun shell and you just put it in and just let go, and it just falls right in. There's plenty of free space, and I guess it just isn't like that with these revolvers. Wow, that right there, boy. That is going in extremely tight right there. If I can get that out. And this is in that high dollar federal premium stuff. So I just kind of wanted to know if this is something that's relatively common with these. Okay, I've said that enough. I won't beat that dead horse into the ground. I have a fair amount of firearms that I picked up here in the last year. I know I haven't been doing videos like I had been at one time. I really don't have no excuse. I mean, we're all busy, but how much time does it take to sit down and do a 10-15 minute video and upload it? It doesn't take that much time. So pretty much I've just been lazy. I kind of feel like I get into a rut. I feel like I'm still in a rut. I'm trying to think of new creative ideas of ways to do videos and stuff, and I just don't have a real creative mind. So I just kind of hate to just sit down here and just keep doing the same thing I do over and over and over again. Although the information that I give is information that I like to get when I go looking for information about a firearm. So that's what I do. I try and put out information I go looking for, and lots of times I can't find it. There's not a lot of people out there that geek out on trigger pulls and weights and all that kind of stuff, and I really like that kind of information. Whenever I was in the store, they had the same gun in black. Now the black one had, I'm sure, it was an XS regular dot front sight. It was a tritium front sight, looked just like the XS dot systems, but this one just came with the plain black ramp. I like the black gun. I like the way the black guns look better than silver or stainless, but I know that the black guns show wear a lot more. Even the one they had in there, just from the customers using it and stuff, it had two different places that had some pretty good scratches on it, and that told me two things. Number one, the coating, the finish on that it must not be very strong, must not be very good. And the other thing is on a black gun, you get those scratches, those things show up just like a big zit on the end of your nose. Whereas the silver color doesn't show it as much. But I had it in my head as like, I'll just order me a front sight for this through XS Dot Systems and just put it on. Well, that's proven to be more difficult than easy. I can't find a front sight for this gun. I'm thinking I might have found one in high-vis, but I want to give XS a call because I really like their dot sights. So I'm going to give them a call and see if a front sight off of one of the other frame Smith & Wessons will slide in the dovetail, because that's all it is. It's just dovetailed in there. I already put some white paint on there. But I have every intention of replacing that front sight with some kind of a tritium sight, hopefully the XS system. But anyway, the gun feels really good in hand. I don't know what else to say about it. There's other videos out there on it. It's a Smith & Wesson. You expect it to be quality. It damn well should be for the money you pay for them, whether it's this or any other Smith & Wesson product. They can be very, very expensive. But I like it. I got high expectations for it, and we'll see how she plays out. Anyway, if you guys could just post up in the comments and just let me know what you're finding with shotgun rounds being real tight going into the cylinders and stuff. I'd appreciate it. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I do appreciate you. Y'all take care, and we'll talk to you soon.